What's happening, MJ traders and investors? It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Today's Wednesday, November 22nd. Happy hump day. Hope you're doing awesome. And in today's video, we're going to be doing an update on MSOS ETF. The advisor shares actively manage pure US MJ ETF. Getting a lot of questions about this one. It's been a while since we did an update, so we'll do some technical analysis. I'll do my charting and show the technicals and what I think, in my opinion, in terms of price action, what could transpire over the days, weeks, months ahead. So this is first and foremost not financial advice. This is for entertainment and informational purposes only. My own thoughts and opinions, my own analysis. You should not buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or write. Before we get to all that though, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell. You'll be notified on any future videos or whenever I go live. Also, make sure to give us a follow on X, which is formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. Also, as a thank you to the community, I love each and every one of you who have supported me along this journey. You can get 10% off at powmerch.ca. So powmerch.ca, use coupon code POWBLACK and you get 10% off. And then speaking of Black Friday deals, there's an absolute blockbuster of a deal that's going on at TradingView. This is what I use to chart on most of my videos. I also use stock charts, but TradingView is by far the best product out there in my opinion. I can 100% vouch for it. And I just purchased the premium. I got 13 months essentially, so you get a whole year, and then one free month, and it ends up being $217 US. It came to $321 Canadian, and that was in Alberta, with tax at only 5%, but that is an absolute steal of a deal. So there'll be links in the description if you want to take advantage of that. But we'll jump into the chart. There is a daily bull flag potential, and we haven't confirmed it yet. We need to break 702 to confirm it, and then in order to negate it, we need to lose 620. So I'm going to give you the bull and bear scenarios. That's what we do with technical analysis. That's what we do when we chart. We don't say that this is going to happen 100%. We don't say that we're going to this level with 100% certainty, because we just don't know. The technical analysis isn't about being right or wrong. It isn't about 100% accuracy. It's about odds and probabilities, and looking at other macro indicators as well, looking at what the broader market is doing, looking at what the sector is doing, looking at where the attention is, looking at catalysts that are looming. So a mix of fundamental analysis as well. And then you can form an overall, well-composed thesis of what you could expect and the odds and that probability of that particular scenario playing out. And I just did some coaching sessions with some POW Group members, and I do individual live streams and private live streams with POW Group members, and this is something I preach time and time again. It's not about knowing. It's not that I have a crystal ball. It's about looking at and identifying 8 to 10 indicators or patterns or signals that usually when we see confluence, which just means when we see the majority of signals and patterns and indicators are saying we're saying the same thing, that's called confluence. So for myself, I've got probably 5 to 10 different patterns, indicators, and signals that I follow on a daily basis and on a regular basis. And if the majority, if 75% of those indicators and patterns and signals are saying bullish, then I'm bullish, right? And if 75% or the majority are saying bearish, then I'm bearish. So I'm going to share with you a trade opportunity that we could have had on MSOS. I'm going to share with you the potential bullish continuation pattern and the target for that. But just keep in mind that nothing's guaranteed. And right now, the S&P 500 just confirmed a daily bull flag. Well, it didn't just confirm it. It actually just confirmed the target. So we're very, very close. But the one thing that we have to add here as a wild card to this price prediction and potential for bullish continuation is that we could see headwinds from the broader market, because the S&P 500 has already hit its daily bull flag target and is likely due for a weekly pullback and consolidation, which would just be healthy. And I'll dive into what that means more in just a second. But let's just delete all of this here. So that is the daily bull flag. I'm going to delete it because, again, when I draw it on there, people don't really normally understand it. That was one of the things that I've noticed through my coaching sessions with private members, is they don't really understand it when I have it on the chart. But when I go and I draw it, it really makes a lot of sense. And even if you don't sign up for the premium or the plus or the essential paid version, you can download TradingView and just use it for free. And you can use like the Fib tool, you can use the Fibonacci, you can use the trend lines and all that good stuff. And it's all free, right? So, but if you want to get into like more like EMAs and pivots and volume, and then adding RSI and Bollinger Bands and everything else, then yeah, watch list, adding things like that, then alerts, things like that, it takes an upgraded account. But just go over here, grab your fib retracement, go from the low at 492, and then we'll draw that out, and then go to the high of the bounce. So a lot of people ask me, how come you go, what does a bounce mean? What does the high mean? What does the low mean? So the low is obviously just the local low, right? There's no other candle on this chart right now. I mean, you could go back here and say that was a lower low, but that's not part of the same move. Then we reverse it, went into a bull trend. Then we had head and shoulders, which is one of the first patterns and things that people learn whenever they first get into it, but it actually did confirm, and it played out to perfection. And then we confirmed a downtrend with a lower high and a lower low, another lower high and lower low. We ended up breaking the daily downtrend here, but ended up being a pretty massive bull trap, and then rate smack down, gave the whole move back after the hype of HHS recommendation to Schedule 3. So then we hit daily oversold, and then the daily oversold bounce was underway here. So you could have entered here, and I said multiple times, I don't know how many times now in the last few months, that $5 has been a nice floor. And basically, if you enter around $5 or slightly there below, you win on MSOS. And then here was another opportunity. 492, we were heavily oversold, anything 30 and below. Again, if you know nothing about technical analysis and you just put RSI into your indicator, just go RSI, Relative Strength Index, put this in here, anything 30 and below is considered oversold and generally a good idea to buy. And then anything, and go long, and then anything 70 and above is considered overbought and generally a good idea to short, right? Or exit long positions. So in this instance, the daily oversold bounce occurred on this candle on Tuesday, October 31st. How do we know that the bounce took place? Because we broke the high of the previous daily candle. Here we hadn't, so right here from the high at 766, for 8 trading days in a row, 8 candles in a row, we had a lower high. We didn't break the high of the previous daily candle. So on this pattern, on this candle, we broke that pattern. So therefore, it was a simple if-then statement. If we break the high of the previous daily candle, it's now 8 days in a row, then we start the daily bounce, and we could expect a sizable move, and that's exactly what happened. And it followed SPY in that regard. So again, that's why we track the broader market as well. So, and I did a video not too long ago that I said I expected MSOS to probably fall down to around that $6 area, maybe even a slight flush of, maybe slightly down into the $5. It actually went back down into the $4 range, which is pretty crazy. But that's what I was expecting. And then now I'm thinking we could be heading anywhere from $10 to $15. This is usually what happens. But keep in mind, we still have tax loss selling and harvesting into the end of the year. So this could drag out, go sideways, maybe just kind of range and find equilibrium and just kind of go sideways action until the new year, which was when I'm really starting to think things are going to kick into high gear and to see a fire lit under it. No pun intended, right? But like into January, February, I think is when we're really going to start to see things start to heat up again. No pun intended with the MJ space, but again, daily oversold bounce, started the bounce here on October 31st after breaking the high of Monday, October 30th. Then we started the daily oversold bounce. Then we didn't really have any daily high or low. We had a brief high or low here. We had $6. We dropped to $5.95, not really a clear pivot. And that's why I add these pivots here as well. I like the 5 and 5 period. And then you can draw that fib tool. So again, you just go from the low to the high, and let's do it again. So you go from, and I have this on the Power Group Academy as well. If you go to powergroup.ca or pursuitofwealthgroup.com, click on Academy, you can sign up for the course, and I do a detailed course on how to identify uptrends versus downtrends. So you draw it from the low to the high there at 702, and we'll just move it out to where we are here today. And then anything over the 0.382 fib, which is just basically, a mathematic ratio. So when you look at the 0.5, that just means you've retraced or you've pulled back and you've basically corrected 50% of that move, okay? So if you were up 44%, if we go from the top to the bottom, right, you're down 15%, down at 595. But this bounce, essentially, you're pulling back 50% of that move. So if you have now pulled back, or, if you look at 78% of the move, or the 618, 61%, right? Or the 0.32, right? You pull back 38%. So it's just a way to look at that and then kind of visualize it. And then the 0.618 is the golden pocket. So generally anywhere around there, and the 0.786 is generally a good idea to enter, and a nice area of target for entries, right? So in this instance, we're looking at the daily bull flag, and generally daily bull flags are bullish continuation patterns. So you want to be in a daily uptrend. You could make the argument that we had a brief daily higher low and higher high here, but I wouldn't really factor that in. And then SPY did the same thing. The move all came off of the low, but we had a daily higher low and higher high. And then once we confirmed the daily uptrend, that confirmed the daily bull flag as well. But generally, we want to see daily uptrends already established before the bull flags, and that gives us even more confidence, but the psychology still remains. So we go from low to the high. Anything over the 0.32 fib retracement is going to be a daily bull flag potential, okay? So we go from low, high, higher, low. We held 680, 622. So if you're wondering what was a good idea, or what was a good trade idea, you could have went bullish here on this daily higher low, and you could just set your stop below 622, because if we lost that, it was no longer a daily bull flag. Plus we had an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross lining up, which added more confluence to the fact, again, there's that word, and right, if we see multiple signals, patterns, indicators saying that we're going up, then we're going to be confident that we're going up, right? So if you entered there at the low of 627, you could have set your stop below 622, you could do 619, 614, leave a little bit of wiggle room, and from that low you could have entered, and you would now be up over 11%, 11.5%. So that's good risk to reward trades. And then if we actually confirm the daily bull flag with a break of 702, so again, the bull scenario is if we hold 622 and break 702 from here, then daily bull flag confirmed. If we lose 622 and drop below that price, then it's going to negate the odds of this playing out. But keep in mind, there is bear traps and bull traps, but it would significantly diminish the chances of that and the odds of that playing out. So then you take the measured move, you go from the low to the high with your trend line, and then you bring it out to the 0.32 fib, because that's the level that we don't want to lose. And then you can just grab a horizontal ray, and then that is your measured move. And we're targeting about just below $9. And like I said, I think we could be hitting $10, $9 to $10 here in the not too distant future. But again, we need to break 702, just like SPY did. The low, high, held the 0.32 fib on the daily pullback, higher low and higher high, daily uptrend confirmed, bull flag confirmed, and then you take the measured move from the low to the high, and then voila, perfection, right? It's actually kind of scary how perfect that was. Came less than a 0.25% away, right? And we're now less than 2.5% away from all-time highs on SPY, and that came after a weekly move from 409. So from the high to the low there of that pullback, took 91 days to go from 457 to 409. And then guess how long it took to go from 409 back to all-time highs again? 28 days. So this is what happens near the end of a bull market. We see massive downside. People get FOMO'd in here, then they sell down here. Then we see one more final blow off top. People FOMO again here. Then we'll see a weekly higher low, maybe a blow off top and another higher high. And then that's when retail gets wrecked and is used as exit liquidity to hold the bag. Then we enter more than likely a multi-year bear market, right? Which I think is probably going to be one of the worst crashes in market history. And again, that's not me to be an alarmist. That's not me trying to spread fear. Go take a look at the video that I've done, how I'm preparing for one of the worst market crashes in history. It was a while ago that I did it, but it still applies because time is irrelevant. It doesn't matter when the crash happens. All of what I'm preparing in that video, all of what I'm preparing for is still irrelevant. Time is not, okay? Doesn't matter. We know that the crash is going to happen. It's just a matter of when, not if, right? So again, time is irrelevant. So in that video, I highly encourage you to check that out so you can prepare yourself. It's not financial advice. Everybody's going to be a different situation. Everybody has different investment horizons, different risk tolerances and whatnot, scenarios and situations. But maybe one or two out of the 10 things I mentioned in that video, you can apply to yourself. That's all it is, right? Me just helping anybody else who potentially could be in the same situation as me, because no two people will ever have the two same situations. But we are likely due for a weekly higher low, so I'm a little bit less confident in this MSOS bull flag playing out right away. If we get news, that'd be one thing, but again, if you're day trading or swing trading based on news and trying to time news, you might as well get mad if you don't pick the winning lottery numbers, right? That's like saying, oh, I can't believe I was one number off on the winning lottery number, right? Well, that's called having a crystal ball, and this is not what technical analysis is about. what you could have done is low, high, enter here and just let it ride. Set your stop below 622. You would now be up 11.5%. You could lock in that profit there if that's what your game plan was before you entered. Again, have a game plan before you enter. If you're not having a game plan, you're just basically a recipe for disaster, right? If your goal was 10%, if your goal was 20%, stick to it. If you're holding it for 5 years, 2 years, 2 months, figure that out before you enter. Set your stop loss if that's what you're going to do. Maybe you're not going to set a stop loss. Again, all this you need to figure out before you enter. But that was a clear day trade and swing trade opportunity, entering there at 627 with a stop below 622. And then you'd already be up 11.5%. And if we go to the target, that's about 42%, right? So that's how you do day trades and swing trades. It's not about having a crystal ball and knowing exactly where to go. You establish the entry levels, then you have your exit plan before you even enter, right? And then decide if you're going to do a stop loss, and that was a great opportunity for a swing trade, and we could still see a ton of upside from here. And then in terms of the weekly time frame, we're getting very close to seeing a weekly candle close above the 10-week moving average there at 682. We're at 689, so if we can close over that this week, that will be extremely bullish. We just had a bull cross of the stochastic, and the MACD is very close to seeing a bull cross as well. That's usually the order that it happens. See, you see a bear cross on the stochastic, then we lose the 10-week moving average, then a MACD bear cross on the weekly. Then you see the stochastic cross bullish, a close above the 10-week moving average, and then a MACD bull cross. So this is looking really good for upside continuation. If we take a look at the weekly moving averages, we just got above the 50 weekly again, and we closed above it last week. If we close above it this week as well with a nice lower wick there, we could be heading to 1074, which is the 100 weekly, the 200 undefined, as we have a lack of trading history. But like I said, could easily be heading up to that $9, $10 area with the daily bull flag targeting 9, and a lack of resistance until the $10.74 area, which is the 100 weekly. We also just had a golden cross with the 50 below the 200-day moving average crossing. Last time that happened, actually, that's the first time in history, in the history of this trading, first ever golden cross. So we're seeing this final shakeout before a massive breakout, in my opinion. We came down, golden cross, massive move. Then we usually see a crash, retrace, accumulation. And then this is our accumulation, and I think we're going to see a massive move thereafter. So let me know in the comments below if this was helpful, if you are one of the ones who added recently. Like I said, that $5 floor, I've been saying for many months now, if MSOS goes to $5, basically just add there and you win, and that continues to reign true. So going into there is Rod with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. Like the video if you think I earned it today. Share the video with your network, and we'll see you again on the next video.